I worked as a night security guard at an old library in a small town. When I first started the job, I struggled to get used to the eeriness that the quiet of the night held. The library, a place of learning and silence during the day, revealed a completely different character at night. My main job was to monitor the surveillance cameras and periodically patrol the inside of the building to check for any activities. Throughout the night, I was almost always alone. There were times when sleepiness overcame me. Surrounded by endless shelves and books, staring at a monitor in the middle of the night was mentally and physically exhausting. In the quiet nights, I sometimes set small alarms during my shift to ensure that I wouldn't fall asleep and miss something important. A few months into the job, an event unlike any normal night occurred. It was a particularly quiet night, and my colleague had just finished his shift and gone home. As usual, I monitored the surveillance cameras and occasionally patrolled the building. After returning from my round and sitting at my desk for a while, I noticed something odd. The ticking of the old library clock, which should have been audible, was not. I stood up and walked towards the direction of the clock, only to find that it had completely stopped moving. As I stood there, a faint noise came from behind me. But when I turned around, I saw nothing. I remembered leaving my cell phone at the desk and decided to go back for it. However, upon returning to my desk, I noticed my phone was missing. My heart racing, I began frantically searching for my phone. Then from the back of the library, I heard the sound of a few books falling. I started walking cautiously towards the direction of the noise. Suddenly, I heard the vibration of my phone and tried to locate where it was coming from. The sound seemed to emanate from the oldest section of the library. Despite expecting to find no one there, I saw the light from my phone peeking through the shelves. As I grabbed my phone, I intuitively felt that it had been placed there by someone. At that moment, I caught a glimpse of a shadowy figure from the corner of my eye, lurking behind a distant shelf. Frozen with fear, yet mustering courage, I called out, but received no response. The only reply was the breaking of silence by more noises, and now, clear footsteps approaching. My heart pounded as if it would burst. The distant desk light seemed so far away, and I was rooted to the spot by fear. Taking a deep breath, I gathered the last of my courage and shouted, "Is someone there?" Yet again there was no reply. Suddenly, acting on a hunch, I turned around to see a dim light coming from between the shelves in the history section. It appeared as though someone or something was using a flashlight. Bravely moving towards the light, it abruptly disappeared, and silence fell once more. I was torn between the fear that someone might still be nearby and the someone was playing a trick on me. However, that was when I began to ponder the old secrets and unresolved mysteries the library might hold. Perhaps, what I had witnessed was something from the library's past. That night I mustered courage once again and meticulously checked every section of the library but found no one. Ultimately, I decided to call the police. When they arrived, we reviewed the video surveillance, which recorded no activities. Yet, the mystery of how my phone ended up in that place remained unsolved. The next day, I delved deeper into the history of the library and discovered that decades ago, a security guard who had worked at the same library mysteriously disappeared. His story was unresolved, and records indicated that the last place he was seen was in the library's history section. Whether what I experienced that night was merely a coincidence or something more inexplicable remains unknown. However, one thing is certain: when I take on the night shift again, I will be more cautious. And I have developed a new respect for the secrets and stories that the old library might hide in the night.